How does one genuinely remain grateful during times of turbulence?
You know, it's actually difficult. We can be grateful mentally. We can keep on affirming it to ourselves. Like, you know, people advise to use affirmations or some sort of a self-programming, reprogramming. I understand it may work for some. But true gratitude comes from this deep contentment and kind of deeper awareness of what life truly is within. And you can't get it just because you want it. You must have gone through a lot to reach the point of gratitude. Gratitude, contentment are the outcomes of your spiritual refinement or mental, emotional, intellectual, whatever, purgation. Because you've purged out, you released yourself from inner falsehood, from some kind of false ideas about your existence, so you feel free. When you feel free, you start looking around, you start observing the beauty of your existence. But this beauty does not come from the outside. You notice it because you are content and balanced within yourself. Because if you're restless, you can't notice the beauty. If you're in agony, in pain of any kind, whether it's physical, mental, emotional pain, existential pain, if you're wondering about something, if you're trying to resolve puzzles and problems, you shut down from the external world. But this is not the actual external world, it's from nature, from the natural world. And so you focus on a man-made reality. And this man-made reality kind of gradually sucks you in and feeds off you. So you can't come out of this cycle of restlessness, anxiety, participation, I would say. So gratitude arises naturally when you no longer participate in that. And all of a sudden you discover the beauty of the natural world. And even though we believe that the natural world is some sort of like a scenery for the man-made reality, it is not. We think we know a lot about the natural world, but we don't. Because this natural world is governed by forces which are unknown to us. We can't control natural forces of the natural world. And so the more we get into the alignment with the natural world, the more we are naturally grateful. We don't even need to call it gratitude. It just emanates. We don't need to call it love. It just emanates. It's one and the same thing. We become like a vessel of blessing, a vessel of gratitude, a vessel of contentment. Because we are tuned and aligned to the natural existence, rather than the unnatural man-made reality that spins us in the wheel. And so, again, when people talk about practices, we may push forward, we may try to practice a lot of things, but the fruit is always obtained through surrender. You practice, practice, practice. The moment you sit down and let go, that's when you receive it. The moment you let go of problems, the moment you let go of your concerns and important issues, that's where you find solutions. That's where you find the relations, the relief even. And so we shouldn't underestimate the power of surrender. And many people get scared when they read in scriptures that you have to get rid of attachments, you have to let go. Everyone is afraid of letting go. But they know that, or they read that transformation is impossible without letting go. they don't understand that those who aren't afraid to let go actually possess everything without being attached to it. They have everything, they can enjoy anything without actually holding on to one or the other element. In potentiality, they know that anything they need is there. So it's also a consciousness of abundance. That's where the natural gratitude comes, because you may enjoy anything. And yet, whatever you enjoy, you realize that it is an element of enjoyment. It is not that wholesome enjoyment, because you are yourself that wholesome enjoyment. So through that wholesome enjoyment, anything, any separate element that you enjoy will be enhanced through your presence, or that enjoyment will double. But at the same time, it cannot tie you up, because your mind is free from the links with the object of enjoyment. So it's just because you dwell in your natural being. If you enjoy that fruit is a part of you. You don't see difference. Whether you enjoy that fruit or don't enjoy that fruit, that wholesomeness still remains there. So if that fruit just a little bit adds to your enjoyment, you're happier. But that, because if you understand the deep, it's not even understand, if you perceive that deep inner bliss of existence, anything you do or don't do sort of is just an extension. But every time you are in a situation or you are in contact with anything, you are fully there, only to that point, to that degree, to the extent of that moment. Once it's over, your mind is back, or it never even extended, but it's kind of like if the focus was on an apple, let's say, and you enjoyed it, or an orange or something else, you were there with it, grateful to hold it. But once it's became a part of you, that's it. You no longer crave. So it's more of an existence in gratitude rather than having gratitude separate from your own being. So and that's the consciousness of abundance, where you never experience lack. The physical reality does not define you, or no longer defines you. People's attitudes don't define you. Their actions don't define you. Because you exist in that wholesome being. And many people may take it also in their own way. Because if they create some kind of dissociation with reality and they hide in that blissful state without facing the reality, that's escapism, you see. So that can be temporary, because once they're faced with troubles, they will need to come out and face these troubles and check whether that gratitude and contentment and feeling of wholesomeness is true, or is just another temporary feeling which they just cultivated and hid behind. Can you maintain this through whatever? That's what strengthens it. It means you're rooting yourself in the ultimate. Because whatever you witness, you do not come out of the root. You are there, rooted within your own being. You know? And so I believe that when we are in our wholesome, or when we are our wholesome existence, we no longer look at reality in a kind of a dividing manner, Because we you know, once you're enjoying the bliss of existence, you don't think, oh, I'm abundant. It's because you ask, let's say now. So I give the answer. So there is some sort of a division here. But otherwise, if you are that, there are no thoughts of, am I grateful now? Am I love? Am I bliss? Am I blessing? Nothing but wholesomeness. But then you may say, okay, this being is constantly in gratitude. This being, because that's your assumption, that's your understanding. But for that being who actually enjoys the being, there are no questions. There are no intellectual pursuits of trying to understand anything, because they're already content. So all the questions dissolve in the contentment.